On that note, I'm delighted to be joined online by Sheikh Mohammad Hourani, an Islamic scholar and researcher who does fantastic work in Sydney, gathering the youth and young adults, guiding them to have a balanced life of maintaining Islamic principles and integrating and benefiting from Western society. He's on my screen. Sheikhna, Assalamu alaikum. We're very, very thankful for your time, and I'm very glad that we could make it work considering the time difference.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله حبيبي. It's a true honor to be in the servants of the Ahlul Bayt عليهم السلام.
Ahsantum, Sheikhna. Very, very, it's a pleasure to have you. You were recently in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, Sheikhna.
Yes, correct. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me the tawfiq to visit the Ahlul Bayt عليهم السلام.
Fantastic, fantastic. Look, Sheikhna, I wanted to, I guess, first and foremost, get a better understanding of the demographics in Sydney when it comes to the Shia communities there. Personally, I've been a few times to Sydney, and you've got a very vibrant community there with different backgrounds, different cultures. So could you give us a very quick insight into the Shia population and maybe the wider Australian background? So for example, looking at ethnic backgrounds, you know, how many of you are there, their ages, the number of mosques, just a quick snapshot of the Shias in Sydney.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the tawfiq of himself and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, there is a very, very large Shia community in Australia. And this is seen in the holy month of Muharram, when everyone comes together, all these centers. It's not only the Arabs, for example, that hold programs.
Right.
There is a very diverse background. We have some Australians that have reverted. We have a group of Iranian brothers, a group of Afghani brothers.
Yeah.
So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that identity is present in the West. That identity is present in this country.
Yeah.
Now, I did some research today in regards to the population in Australia. So apparently in 2016, a census was taken, and the number in 2016 was 604,000 Muslims. In 2021, the total number of Muslims increased by 209,157. So approximately right now, there is around 813,392 Muslims within Australia. Now, they are all separated amongst all the states and territories that we have over here. However, we have 430 mosques that have been recognized by the government. So you just imagine every one of these centers holds a program. Every one of these centers has a specialty in providing for the youth, providing for the community.
Okay, fantastic. So there was quite a bit of a jump, almost 200,000 in about a couple of years.
Where did they... 109,000 increase.
Where do they come from? I mean, mostly from the Middle East, America, do we know?
A lot of people migrated from the Middle East.
Okay.
In the 1970s, my family included, in the 1970s, everyone from, let's say, Iraq, from Lebanon, they migrated to Australia. And then some also migrated to America and Canada.
So tell us about your background specifically, because when I visited the Lebanese community. From your perspective, is there a large Lebanese community there? Are they the largest there in Sydney specifically?
There is a very, very large Lebanese community in Sydney. Currently, right now, I'm in Melbourne, and the Lebanese community isn't so large. However, in Sydney, it's very, very large, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We have many Lebanese centers, and it's phenomenal what they do.
What is it that's phenomenal about it?
They're majalis, and they have this type of harara that they want to work. They want to continuously start this. Continuously start any majlis that they can. And that's what's beautiful.
Is that the Iraqi background majalis or the Lebanese?
That's the Lebanese and the Iraqi. In
And the
Melbourne, the
Iraqis.
Iraqis have taken over.
In recent years.
Correct.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so tell us a bit more about your role. You mentioned, were you born in Australia? I don't want to say Sydney anymore because you're in Melbourne, and I don't want to get that wrong. But were
I
you
was
born in
born
Australia?
in Sydney, but I migrated to Melbourne about a year ago.
Oh, so you were born in Sydney?
Correct.
Oh, mashallah. Okay, fantastic. So what's your role now within the community?
So back in Sydney, I was always found in the local Husseiniya. And then when I moved to Melbourne, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I am actually all over the place, as you would say. I attend many programs, I host many programs, marriage ceremonies, anywhere that I can help or anywhere that I can assist. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants me the ability to be there. So my role most specifically is trying to work with the youth, trying to bring the youth in, especially here in the West. They lose a bit of their identity, so we got to try as hard as we can to bring them in. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, it's been easy because once you host programs that bring the youth come running, not only by themselves, but with their friends as well.
What sort of activities are you doing to attract the youth to come to the mosques?
So, usually on a Friday night, we hold a quick talk, a quick lecture, a discussion. And then after that, we have some recreational activities. Either sometimes they play table tennis, sometimes there are outdoor soccer in the daytime.
Okay.
So we need to we try to cater for the youth as much as we can.
Has there been a case study or a scenario where someone who was a youth who was fairly lost but found his identity, found his way through the activities that you've given them?
Well, if bringing a revert into the path of Tashayyu' counts, then yes.
Subhanallah. Tell us about that story.
He's a youth, 18 years old. The Shia Shabab brought him into their circle and they started to encourage him to attend these groups. And this brother really felt like he had brothers behind him. He was an Italian guy, far from Arabs in general, yet alone Islam. And when he attended these programs more and more, he was inclined towards the path of Tashayyu'. As you know, every revert, they have two options. I take this Islamic sect or this Islamic sect. Depends who caters me more
Yeah.
or caters me in a better way. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, these programs we were able to bring him in more and more. And the message of the Ahlul Bayt was we were able to spread that to the brother.
Yeah. So, Sheikhna, just on that point, I'm going to ask the technicians to play the video that we have of the activity center, specifically the table tennis and other activities. I think there was console games as well. Whilst they put that on, these are the kind of activities. So where does religion play into it? Because that video was all them playing. So where does like Islamic teachings come into that?
So, in order for us to be able to convey the Islamic message, we also got to give the youth what they need, what they want. It's a one-way road. I give you this in return. Give me a few minutes so I can spread to you this knowledge. So, prior to this event taking place or the games taking place, what we would do is we would sit down for a discussion. Any Islamic topic, topics that the youth suggest, topics that the youth want to hear more about. We speak to them half an hour, 45 minutes. We give them chai, we give them cookies, we have pizza ready for them. And then after everyone has filled their stomachs up, everyone goes, either they play PS5 or they play table tennis. Everything that we can do to give the youth, inshallah, it will be there.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. So tell us about, I guess this is more of an important topic, but you mentioned things like identity, losing their way. What are the challenges of the youth living in Australia, or in Australia specifically? What are the challenges that they have when it comes to their religious faith and holding on to their religious faith?
The major challenge that we have is culture. The Australian culture is contrast to the Arab culture, yet alone the Islamic culture. So sometimes, especially either it be from the sister's side, from the male side, there is a difference in clothing, a difference when it comes to eating food. There is a very, very large difference when it comes to our identity and the identity of others that don't necessarily follow the path of Islam. So we do see youth, when you see guys going out on a Friday night, other than paying attention to their Islamic duties, you see, for example, non-believers go out, you see that the youth become more inclined. Why is it that they can have fun? Why can't I have fun? Etc., etc. So that's where our role comes in. That's where we need to focus more on the youth. Because this identity crisis that is taking place today doesn't only affect the non-believers, it affects the believers before it affects the non-believers. So we find that our youth are victimized when it comes to this identity crisis due to the culture difference. However, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we've tried to bring in as much youth as we can, and Alhamdulillah, we've been able to do just that.
Okay. Sheikh, is it attractive enough, these activities, these centers? Are they attractive enough for the youth?
Yes, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, they've brought them in. It's not only the activities, it's when you come with your friends, when one friend refers to another friend, when one friend calls another friend, not only is it a gaming area, it's also a great place for socializing. Brothers meet each other, everyone welcomes each other in. That's how that revert brother of ours was able to feel the brotherhood. Because once he met everyone, everyone brought him in, everyone took him out. He was able to eat at everyone's house in Shahr Ramadan. That's where brotherhood is found, in these programs, in these recreational activities.
Fantastic work, Sheikh. And I wanted to kind of speak to you on a more personal level now. Australia, for us, is in the middle of nowhere. I'll be very, very honest.
Right.
Getting to Australia from London was a very, very difficult plane journey. And I'll share a funny story with the audience as well. I was going through London, Dubai, Sydney. So it was a 16-hour flight. So I thought to myself, why not stay awake the whole night, get on the flight from London to Dubai, not sleep on that flight, because that's about 6-7 hours anyway. So I thought, I'm going to be so tired, so exhausted, so sleepy that I'll sleep on the flight from Dubai to Sydney. Sheikh, now how long does someone want to sleep on a flight? 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours? Let's just say you slept for 10 hours. I've still got another 6 hours left of the flight from Dubai to Sydney. So it was a bit of a horrible journey. However, getting there, the people were very welcoming. So mashallah. From your perspective, coming back and forth and inviting, actually, very importantly, you mentioned that there's harara in the majalis. Inviting speakers and reciters who are well known. The Arab, for example, I've seen Mullah Bujbara, who comes to Sydney quite a lot, maybe even Melbourne. How easy is it to get them, these high, the very famous names, to get them to Australia? Or hard?
It takes a lot of manipulation to be able to grab big people that have big names to Australia. The first thing, once you want to invite someone, yeah, sure, I will come. Where are you located? The moment you say to them Australia, it's out the door. Unfortunately, it's a very, very tiring flight. From London to here is approximately 22 hours and 40 minutes. From here to Iraq is around 14 plus another 4, so it's around 18 hours. So it's very, very tiring. It's with the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Ahlul Bayt that they are the ones that ease these speakers and these reciters to come to Australia. Or else, who would want to come to Australia that far in a plane?
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate that. But from your perspective, you have to go back and forth?
You got to do what you got to do.
MashaAllah. Really thankful for your time. I know you have, what is it, 9:30 now, 9:20 on the 17th of October,
Correct.
Tuesday? Yeah. So you're about 10 hours ahead of us. But the good thing is that I have a morning show. So anytime we can benefit from your lectures and from your discussions, inshallah, hopefully the timing will work. Many thanks to you, Sheikh Mohammad Hourani, and inshallah, all the best.
حياكم الله. أهلا وسهلا.
Now,